Now that SMA was part of Santa Cruz, the opportunity arose to do some filming. Natas' breakthrough first video part in Santa Cruz's Wheels of Fire finally gave everyone a chance to see him skate, and even hear his voice.
This is me, going down the street. Oh, dirt.
His ability to ollie at that time had far surpassed anyone else, and the part as a whole helped cement the new direction in which skateboarding was heading.
Frontside 360 ollie 17 years ago was ridiculous.
Everything in Wheels of Fire, the ollie, when he ollied the can.
You just see something, you'd be like, Natas could ollie that. Natas could jump that. He could definitely jump that. That impact affected everybody skateboarding at that time.
He was doing stuff that a lot of people wouldn't think of doing. Sliding dumpsters when, you know, back in the day that was huge. It was like, what? Natas did this?
Santa Cruz released Wheels of Fire in 1987, expecting its vert superstars, Rob Roskop and Christian Asoy, to create most of the hype. But as street skating began overtaking vert, Natas' strong video part surprised everyone by generating the most response.
And people were complaining, like, oh, he's just a street skater and his board's selling that many. It was like a bizarro world compared to now.
But as Natas was becoming a household name, Santa Cruz began getting calls from parents concerned over its spelling, backwards.
Natas Kapuas. What? What kind of name is that?
Natas' family and his name come from Lithuania. Natas is simply the male version of Natalia, a common Lithuanian name.
My parents named me that without really thinking what it spelled backwards. People think it's got some big meaning behind it.
Ignoring the logical explanation, many schools and shops instituted a ban on any merchandise bearing the name Natas. Even whole cities joined in, most notably Long Beach, California.
It was only about 5 years ago that they lifted that ban.
Despite the bans, kids couldn't get enough of Natas, and his name was everywhere. But fame often became a nuisance for the somewhat reserved skater, as he was constantly hounded by fans.
He wasn't so much about the fame, so when kids would approach him, he kind of was like, hey, I'm just skating, leave me alone. I think kids would trip.
If someone wanted to talk to me, yeah, we'd sit and talk, but I wouldn't want to sign autographs, I just wanted to skateboard, and that's what I like to do.
Although he had growing responsibilities running SMA, Natas was able to fit in plenty of skateboarding. He and Mark Gonzalez continued to influence and push each other as they created the building blocks for modern skating. The next big challenge for the two leaders was something most street skaters hadn't even dreamt of at the time.
It was a Pro-Am contest down in Oceanside, and we see Natas ride across the stage and try and board slide down this hand railing. He didn't make it, but we couldn't believe it. We hadn't heard about this. We had never seen this. We had no idea that anyone even thought like this. We all just stopped dead in our tracks and went, oh my God.
Mark and I were like almost the only people who could talk that language. You'd go skating with other people and they're like, you're kind of more showing everyone else what you're doing. We were doing rail slides on higher and higher things. Like, the natural thing was to take it to handrail.
I would say the Federal Building was like the first legitimate handrail that we both did.
He was a spur-of-the-moment type of individual who would just like, there it is, try it, you know. He was always sort of one step ahead of all of us.
Soon after he and the Gons did the first recorded board slides, Natas stepped up again at the Federal Building rail.
They were the first guys that I ever saw do a 50-50 on a rail.
It's like soft aluminum, those rails are. I think I had Kaupas on too.
Breaking the handrail barrier would change skateboarding forever, as other skaters endlessly repeated and built upon the work of Natas and Gons. But Natas also became known for certain tricks that no one has ever managed to duplicate.
I don't know. I still think it was smoke and mirrors, man. I don't know what was going on. But
I don't know. I've tried that forever. Never be able to do it.
While filming for his next Santa Cruz video part, Natas found a new way to incorporate the fire hydrant into skateboarding.
Natas could twirl around on a fire hydrant. That's the greatest contribution to skateboarding, I think. Really, that's how he skated. He utilized everything around him, and he had moves for everything.
Natas' next video part, in Santa Cruz's Streets on Fire, had become a much anticipated event, and once again defined the level of street skating at the time.
There are doubts regarding your ability to lead them. The men lead them. There are doubts in your ability. There's too many blinds in your analogy. Lieutenant, there is talk pertaining interpretation of problems. Describe them. Problems. There are doubts in your ability. There's too many blinds in your analogy.
When I really got into Natas was watching those videos, and it was everything, you know, Natas. I had to be Natas to everything.
Trying to just emulate every single thing, like, you know, trying to get the haircut. Like, everyone was doing, like, the Tony Hawk haircut. We were trying to do the Natas haircut. That was what was so amazing about it, just that someone could spark that.
Natas' unique take on skateboarding, as well as fashion and even music, began getting him attention worldwide. He got a call one day from a French shoe designer who had seen Natas' interview in Thrasher and wanted to start a company.
He tracked me down and threw this whole thing at me. He's this crazy French guy, but he was a great guy and I liked his ideas. And so we started Etnies.
Natas' shoe, the first pro model skateboard shoe, was released in 1988. Having a skate shoe tested and approved by a top pro was a totally new concept, but it would set a precedent and become the standard in the industry.